Hey everyone, this is PrinceWatercress, and welcome back to Let's Play Sly 2 Band of Thieves for the Sony PlayStation 2. In the last episode, we started episode 8, and we managed to get all of the clue bottles much more quickly than I anticipated. Matter of fact, I managed to find the last one that I needed in the lower ring area while I was fighting enemies, and had I not found it the way that I did, I probably would have spent another 20 minutes on the last video. Thankfully, that was not the case, and we managed to get all the note bottles, all the clue bottles taken care of in a pretty good amount of time, which means we don't have to deal with clue bottles anymore for the rest of the game. We can just go straight into the missions. And I'm going to go ahead and play Sly. And he's going to be able to see me from a mile away, so I'm going to go this way. You really want to be careful where you go when you walk about on Arpeggio's aerial fortress, because you never know when you're going to get spotted. It definitely helps to have the lightning strike ability with your cane or with any weapon that you have available. You definitely want to have a way to get rid of enemies instantly in case you need to take care of them. Because if you get spotted, you're going to have to deal with a whole ton of enemies before you can get out of danger. And that can take a minute or two sometimes. So we need to make our way to the other end of the ship, so that way we can start the first mission. We're obviously going to need some information if we're going to be able to do anything here. And it also helps if you use silent obliteration on any enemies that we manage to come across. It is going to be useful. It also helps if you're able to get on this thing and do the spire jump and walk. The spire jump and the rail walk on this thing. And that's where our first mission is going to be. I do want to get rid of this guy. That way he can't mess with anything. And I need to get this guy out of the way. That would help. Alright. They're no longer angry. Let's go ahead and take on the first mission of this episode.
My instruments have picked up large magnetic fields radiating from inside that blimp. If Arpeggio's already started reassembling Clockwerk, that's where you'll find him.
Sounds good. I'm on my way.
Don't waste any time here, Sly. Get to the blimp and take some recon photos. To build a plan, we need to know how close they are to reviving Clockwerk.
Relax, Bentley. I've got it under control.
I had no idea they could reassemble Clockwerk so fast.
Calm down, Bentley. He might be in one piece, but he doesn't appear to be, you know, alive. Let's stick to the format here. How about some recon photos?
You're right. We need to be informed to create a plan of action. Try to get a shot of Clockwerk's head, a mech egg, and one of those spinning magnetic inducers. They seem important to the
And from here, we need to watch what we're doing.
I'm sensing radioactivity from inside those mech eggs. I wouldn't get too close.
And then get down here below where we began to get the eggs. You're not going to be able to get them from a far distance. It's not going to work that way. You have to be right in front of them to get a picture of them. Now here, we are going to have to be a little more careful here. I think I may have to do it this way.
These magnetic inducers seem to be holding the clockwork parts together.
And now, we need to make our way up in order to get the clockwork. Of course, you can't just get onto clockwork. You will have to give yourself a little bit of distance. And that will be able to do it. By the way, if you look over here, Neyla seems to be over here. Well, we'll be dealing with her soon enough. And I'm assuming that that machine that we just passed by is Arpeggio. And what do you know? We got a perfect zoom in on Clockwerk here.
Clockwork appears completely inanimate. We still might have a chance. Sly, I'm detecting voices from the front of the blimp. I think it's Arpeggio.
And what do you know? It is Neyla and Arpeggio. We just need to go over here.
Neyla? Neyla's here too.
And from here, we need to get pictures of both of them.
There he is, the mastermind behind this blimp and the source of all our problems.
First we get Arpeggio. Then we get Neyla.
I can't believe it. She must have been working with Arpeggio all along. I don't need to study those photos to see the writing on the wall. Clearly, Neyla and Arpeggio have conspired together to rebuild Clockwerk. And it looks like they're dangerously close to realizing their goal.
Look, Bentley, I know it's not your style, but I need a quick plan of attack. Try to think of a way, any way, to stop Clockwerk from getting reassembled.
Well, those magnetic inducers seem to be holding the parts together. If you reverse their polarity, it should pull Clockwerk apart. Unfortunately, the inducer speed control station is locked down tight. Pickpocket keys for the 4 patrolling guards to get at it. Then you'll need to manually reverse the polarity of each inducer deck at the top of their rotation.
Consider it done.
And from here, we need to pickpocket each guard and take their keys. You want to start with this guard first. Now, thankfully, at this point, these guards who you couldn't attack before, you can attack them now, once you get the keys from them. So just pay attention to what you're doing. Try not to get horribly maimed. Don't put yourself in a position like this one, and you should be good, I think. Okay. He's going this way. I want to get to him next. As long as I have the guys in both the front and the back dealt with, taking care of the other 2 guards who are just walking around in one big giant circle below Clockwerk will be easy to pickpocket. Also, silent obliteration is definitely your friend here. So, once you get a key from a guard, you definitely want to use silent obliteration. Especially from the first guard that I took a key from, because he just stands there and he just makes everything a little more difficult.
to the speed control station to slow down the spinning inducers.
Now it's time to get to this control station and use the keys with the circle button here. The inducers will slow down.
The inducer decks are spinning slower. Get up there and reverse the polarity of each deck.
And we need to get on each of these things and press circle at the controls once these things are right side up. There's 2 on each side of the room, 2 on one side, 2 on the other, and you want to wait for these things to be right side up when you get to them, so that way you can press circle at the monitors and you can get to these things. You have to get to the metal rods that are at the top of Clockwerk, paraglide, and then get over to the monitor and press circle to deactivate the inducers before you get pushed off due to how these things move around. Thankfully, I am making this look a little more easier than it is. And that takes care of that job.
What's all this then? The magnets have been reversed. But by Jove, it seems to have locked the Clockwerk parts into place. Excellent.
Sly Cooper! Of course this would be your doing.
Mr. Cooper. No doubt you believe a reversal would pull the old bird apart, eh? But it seems to have had quite the opposite effect. I'm truly grateful. When fully powered up, I'll join myself to its circuit and be born anew.
All this because you can't fly. You're pathetic.
Immortality! Immortality is what I seek. The other Claw Gang members were much too short-sighted. They were satisfied using the Clockwerk parts to drive their various trivial schemes. But not me. No. I saw them for what they really were. The keys to life eternal.
So, what? You had Neyla put me on the scent back in Cairo, and then waited while I stole the parts from the other Claw Gang members, all the while not arousing any suspicion that you were behind it all?
You make it sound easy, Cooper. I had to carry your pathetic gang through that first set of heists. I was overjoyed when Arpeggio let me toss you in jail. I could finally go after the parts myself.
But acquiring all the parts was only half the equation. Think, Cooper. What kept Clockwerk alive for thousands of years?
He was fueled by his hatred for my family.
Splendid! That's right. Hatred. Putting his gears and wires together was child's play, compared with accumulating that much hatred.
You can't make people hate.
Oh, my poor naive boy. My meticulous mind has found a way. As your hippopotamus friend will attest, spice consumption makes you both angry and susceptible to hypnosis. The Contessa, hypnotist extraordinaire, devised a way to command people through the use of flashing lights. I've created this blimp to be a massive transmitter of those precise light frequencies. The only problem I faced was finding a suitable source of light waves.
The Northern Lights. You've been collecting Northern Light energy so you could hypnotize everyone beneath the blimp.
Hypnotize those who'd eaten food covered in illegal spice. Thank goodness for Dimitri. Through his nightclub, he got the whole city to consume the spice.
You're going to Paris to unleash a hypnotic light show of hate. That's outlandishly cruel.
Cruel, perhaps, but necessary to give Clockwerk his spark of immortality. Ah well, my new body awaits me. Be a dear, Neyla, and keep him covered. Ta-ta!
Stupid Arpeggio. I double-crossed the Koopa gang, Interpol, and Carmelita. What made you think I wouldn't do the same to you?
This is preposterous! You're my protege, not the next candidate for my immortality. I demand you exit the Clockwerk frame or...
Behold, Clockla is born!
As we all know, things are looking grim. Neyla has joined herself to the Clockwerk frame, and the Union has produced Clockla. She's out and free to terrorize the world. This blimp is still in motion to Paris. I can only assume Arpeggio's autopilot will activate the hate hypnosis light show. If that happens, there'll be no stopping Clockla. She'll be immortal. But we still have a chance. In her new form, she'll need to draw a lot of energy from this blimp's engines to stay strong. If we can disable the engines, that should be enough to weaken her to a state in which we can attack. Getting at these engines will require all three of us to work together in perfect harmony. We've pulled off some tough jobs in the past, but they were just the warm-up round for what we'll be going through tonight.
And that was quite a bit of exposition. So now we've figured out quite a lot of things. Arpeggio wanted to be immortal, in addition to being flight-worthy. Neyla was in it just to get Clockwerk all for herself. And everything that we've been dealing with, the spice trade, the Clockwerk parts, everything that everybody in the Claw Gang was doing before we sent them off packing to jail was all connected. Turns out the spice that we tried our best to stop from being put into further circulation was not only a drug, but also a drug used to make people more aggressive and more susceptible to being taken advantage of via hypnosis. As a result, through hypnosis, everybody who is hypnotized in a concentrated area, such as the city of Paris, who has consumed enough spice to go as aggressive as Murray was in episode 4, they could become so aggressive that they would create an immense amount of hatred that Clockwerk could feed off of. Therefore allowing Clockwerk, whom Neyla has now made herself one with to become Clockla, Clockla is now able to live forever. And not in the Damien Priest sort of way. Unless you watch WWE, you will not get that last part. Anyway, we need to stop Clockla from being able to live forever and terrorize not only Paris, but also the entire world, and keep Clockwerk's name out there forever, and basically eclipse the Cooper family name, much like how Clockwerk wanted to do it in the first game. We need to put a stop to all that, even though Clockla is, as you can see, flying around over there in the background. We've got one mission done already. That took us about 15 to 17 minutes with all the exposition, cutscenes, and whatnot. Even though I knew what I was doing this time around, because I did do a practice run. And it took all of 20 minutes plus. I've just been talking for the last 4 minutes or so. Anyway, we need to put a stop to the whole Clockwerk thing once again, now that Clockwerk has been inadvertently rebuilt thanks to our efforts at trying to stop that from happening. Yeah, we're gonna need to put a stop to Clockwerk. But that will have to wait until the next video. Join me next time where we take on the second leg of Episode 8. Until then, this is PrinceWatercress. Take care, stay safe, and thanks for watching!